Hey guys, how's it going? It's Achon here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm happy to bring you part 2 of my Fire Templar Witch Hunter build. This is a spear and shield build, utilizing mainly physical attacks and elemental fire attacks. This does really good AoE clearing, and decent against bosses now that I've worked with it. Going through the campaign was a breeze because it has really good defensive capabilities. In my last video, a lot of people seemed to really like it, but I knew it was going to have to change up for the mapping in-game. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be about what I've changed, and I'm going to go in a little better detail about where I'm at with my skill gems, passive trees, and so on and so forth. So let's get to it. Okay, we're going to skip these because I don't really use them. Crossbow shot, spear stab, I don't use any of those. Okay, here we go. Barrage. Barrage is used to get as many twisters as possible out onto the field. The support gems kind of do the same thing. We check them out here. So let's go over to twofold. Can I scan over it like that? Here we go. Let's see. Twofold benefits from consuming charges for supported skills have 20% chance to be doubled. That creates even more twisters, and that's a lot of fun. And this supported skill has 30% increased cooldown. We want to be able to use this as much as possible. And then any abilities empowered by Barrage are stronger. So this, in combination with the Twister, my next ability here, this is my screen clearing combo. And that's you're going to see that in the gameplay here. But I don't want to just do that. Let's go through the Twister here. As you know, Twister shoots out a bunch of projectile tornadoes that bounce everywhere and hit everything. I use this mainly to build pinning. One of the problems I had with this build was building up frenzy charges. That's going to be one of the negatives about starting this build. But when you're going to campaign, you don't need that many. But as we're going into mapping, we need all the frenzy charges we can get so we can get empowered explosive spears. And so with the support, we do pinning, salvo to throw more twisters out there, persistence. We want these twisters out there hitting things as much as possible. And in the passive tree, I also take more skill effect duration, and this is nice. I'm going to check it out. I think I get almost like 6 seconds worth of these twisters bouncing around the field, and it's really nice. Scatter shot throws more twisters out there, even more fun. And leverage, because I pin a lot of the times when the tornadoes bounce back, I can have them do even more damage when they're floating around. So yeah. Next, explosive spear. Explosive spear is one of your starting abilities, and you're going to be using it. When it is empowered with the frenzy charge, it leaves fire ground, which we put our twisters through to create fire tornadoes all over the place. Burns everything to the ground, and it's a lot of fun, especially when you go through the maps that have things that can be singed by fire. The whole screen glows, and it's amazing. So what we got, fire exposure, just get that fire damage off. We try not to remove charges because we're going to be throwing a lot of spears, and we want to keep our frenzy up as much as possible. So it's nice when you have a 35% chance to not consume those bolts, or those frenzy charges, excuse me. +1 to limit. It's just nice to have more explosions out there. And then the spoiler, 50% increased duration of the ground surfaces. So we want that ground to be on fire as much as possible for enemies to walk through and for my tornadoes to run through to catch on fire. Overwhelming presence. This is an aura that I'm using right now to better proc ignite and my stuns. And we currently at the game want to stun a lot because of the Spear of Solaris. Okay, real quick before I go into this, I feel like the Spear of Solaris needs some kind of buff. It's fine, but it needs to either move around the field or create bigger AoE or just do more damage in general, because in order to get this thing off, you have to heavy stun and build up a bar around that heavy stun to use it, and it just doesn't feel very useful as it is now. But I've been using it as my boss killer because I can stun something, and every big boss that I fight, it automatically comes up every time you heavy stun a boss. And That with the whirlwind and twisters, you can get a pretty good DPS window, and hopefully you'll see that in the gameplay coming up here. With its damage, extra fire, extra elemental, and enemies ignited by the skill has 60% chance to explode on death. That's just something to add on there. Shield charge, again, this works well with the explosive spear. This is going to be your main stunning ability, but I also use that stun to break armor. So yes, so more stun buildup, breaks armor on heavy stun, damage up close because you're going to be pushing enemies back when they're in your face with the shield charge, and that's really nice. And heft, more damage. Call of the week I was using mainly throughout the game to get frenzy charges, especially with that update. That's really helped out with the early game grind on this build when you're not able to build those frenzy charges. The only problem is bossing. You can't call a boss to get your frenzy charges, so I was switching this out with Sniper's Mark, but I didn't really like the feeling. Now that I have twisters doing pin build up, I tend to get some frenzy charges throughout boss battles, but it's still kind of hard, and that's probably the weakest part of this build, is the fact that I can't build frenzy charges as much as I want while I'm fighting bosses. It's not bad though. I have plenty of other abilities to handle bosses, so it is what it is. So Ancestral Call looks kind of cool when you get multiple spear strikes. Doesn't really do much, doesn't do anything to give me more frenzy charges. I just like it because it looks cool. Execute, we want to be able to execute things as quickly as possible, so this is kind of a finisher for a lot of the called enemies. And then Untouchable, sometimes I just want a little evasion rating while I'm trying to kill things to death. Whirling Slash, this has a couple different utility uses. I use this as a defensive measure to knock back enemies and give me extra evasion rating. And it also starts the twister all over the room effect. So this is ideal for this build, especially if you're going to be throwing out twisters like I am, or like you'll see. Hitting ignited enemies causes a volcanic eruption. That's just kind of nice. Honestly, I feel like it needs a buff. I don't feel like it does a lot of damage to be useful. So it can come or go. More attack speed. I'm always hitting stuff, always trying to blind them, always trying to do that damage. And it's nice to be able to throw those twisters out there quicker with that extra attack speed. Punch through. This is kind of another utility ability. Knockback, easy target applied. Increases the magnitude of projectiles. Defy, attack damage with hits with support skills. Lucky, when you're surrounded. I am surrounded a lot in this game, so that helps out with that. And then Unyielding. What does that do? Oh yeah, just kind of helps with survivability. When I'm surrounded, and using this ability, I get a little bit of life recouped, and it's minuscule, but I think it helps out. And then lastly but not least, Combat Frenzy. The hardest part about this build is figuring out how to build frenzy charges, and it doesn't work too well because I don't have any freeze, electrocute, and pinning, since I'm doing mainly fire damage. But since I've added pinning to my twisters and they hit everything in the room, I pretty much solved that problem, and I don't have any more issues with frenzy charges mainly right now. I can always use more, but I don't have any problem mapping with those. So okay, with that said, let's quickly go through the passive tree. I'm just going to give you the overview, and I'll stick around this too much. As I was leveling up throughout the game, I was mainly leveling up this lay siege and these shield icons, because this is nice. 1% increased damage per 1% chance to block. When I put a point into a blocking node, I'm getting a 5% damage increase. So as you're leveling up, you're not sacrificing damage too much, but you're able to keep your defensive posture, and it's really good for those early campaign moments or those parts you get stuck at. It's just nice to have. Under the mercenary tree, we work down here, we have a couple more nodes of defensive blocks, and I was running these a lot when I was having a hard time getting past certain content, and that was really nice. I was doing more AoE, but because of the Witch Hunter's AoE Ascendancy perk, I get lots of explosions. My twisters go everywhere. My spears, my spears hit everything, and honestly I just don't need much more AoE. I just need more damage, and actually at this point in the game I'm doing lots of damage, and I'm kind of just speccing into defense now as I'm moving through mapping. So yes, that's kind of the gist of that. What's really nice about the mercenary is this damage to enemies on low life, and then this down here, this giant slayer, giving us more damage and hits against rare uniques. So this build was great at clearing maps, but not so good at rares and bossing. So under the mercenary tree, this giant slayer and the damage on low life enemies really helped out with my bossing. And hopefully this gameplay footage will go smooth and you'll see how well I clear areas. Real quick, I just want to go over my stats. I am currently optimizing my weapons. I am looking for an artifact that's going to go great with this build, specifically the one that turns fire damage to ice, and you know why. That will be good. I don't even have to explain why I want that so bad. But I'm playing solo self-found, so we'll see how long that takes to find that. If you've noticed real quick, I have a relatively even spread between my block, evasion, and armor. And this is so nice running through these mapping. I get surrounded a whole bunch, and by the time I get to my blocking and my evasion, my armor is able to soak up some hits, and I have really good survivability, relatively speaking. Of course, my elemental resistance isn't where I need it to be, and I'm going to have to work on that. But right now, I'm working my way through tier 5, 6, and 7 maps without any problems, other than sometimes I just get like a really weird pack combo. Well, okay, so that is the gist for my setup. Let's go ahead and get into the gameplay here, and I'm going to try to do this without messing up or dying, so let's wish me luck. Let's see. As I come across packs, I like to start off with my spear, slam into them. That gives me nice setup. And I just kind of call whatever looks like it's gonna be dead. Honestly, I just kind of spam it until I max out. There we go. See, I took some hits there, and I was able to notice before I got killed, and was able to get myself out of that nasty situation. Now you can consume more frenzy charges to add more twisters, but what I like to do is I only like to do it when I have... Ooh, here we go. Ooh, is this a... Where you at? Where you at? Yeah, you're gonna die. Yeah. There we go. Cool, 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 cool. Took her out, no problem. Oop. And that's Murder, She Wrote, folks. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that. This is a lot of fun. I will probably go through this stuff here in a little bit, but right now I'm just trying to show you what this build is about. I'm going to go ahead and just continue clearing this map until I die or complete it. So enjoy the rest of the footage. I'm going to talk a little bit here. But mainly, I have a hard time talking and playing the game sometimes. So I'm just going to rant as I go through this map. And hopefully you enjoy it. Again, my name is Achon. I could use support. I definitely want to be a content creator, but I don't really have a lot of time right now, being a family man lot. So any support, any support you can give me to help me continue make content, I would really appreciate. That is Raccoon Prince Gaming. Achon is my name. You can call me whatever you want, though. And I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of this video. Achon out, but not really. I'm still here. I'm just playing the game. So, Achon out, but not really.
One down. Who's next?
so good. So good. Alright, let's do this. These guys haven't been too bad. They're pretty generous. Where is it? It's stuck over there. I can never tell. I'm glad you can see it on the mini-map at least. Oop, I'm getting stuck. See? I was able to survive that though, even though I got stuck. Really nice. Ooh, what happened? Oh, did I? Shoot, I forgot to look for it. Wait, what's going on? Is it doing something?
Another notch on the arm.
Whoa, I've never seen that thing before. Woo!
I wonder what you'll unearth. Detonation time.